Everyone would just put their cell phones on vibrate.
On January 5th, 2016, and as revised on July 12th, 2016, and September 27th, 2016, adequate notice of this meeting pursuant to the Open Public Meetings Act has been furnished by inclusion thereof in the annual schedule of meetings for 2016, which has been posted on the bulletin board of Borough Hall, filed with Borough Clerk, faxed to the Our Town Record and the Community News newspapers, and distributed to all persons, if any, requesting copies of same pursuant to said act. In case of an emergency or fire alarm, you must evacuate the building by using any of the exit doors in the room. They are immediately to my right, and the double doors at the rear of the room. Occupants must exit the building by using the staircase and not the elevator. This meeting is being recorded by both video and audio and may be rebroadcast.
Tonight we have the Honorable Reverend Dr. Bessie Duncan of Unity Church of Christ to come up and give our invocation, please. Would everyone rise?
Good evening, Lord our God. We thank you and welcome you to this wonderful meeting of the Maywood Town Council. We thank you for your prosperity, for your abundance, which couldn't be shown any better than by looking at a room full of young people, because a town, Lord, we know, a town that supports its children is wealthy. A town that takes care of its youth is wealthy. A town that provides safety from its police and fire department for its youth and for their education is a wealthy town. A town that sees the future in our youth is a wealthy town. And God, we're so grateful that you have all this abundance in front of us, this energy in front of us, this all-togetherness, this oneness. And Lord, we know that you walk beside us and guide our way. You guide us in every choice that we make. And we are wise and we are free because we move through the name and the power of the Christ. In each and every one of us, he resides. And we say thank you, Father. Amen.
Well, I'll remain standing. Do we have a class president here, Mr. Jordan?
Helen is here. Helen is that here, but our vice president is back.
Please. Who's the vice president? Come on up. Lead us in the pledge of allegiance, please.
Pledge allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call.
Mayor Fabrett.
Here.
Council members Padavano. Here. Trevino.
Here.
DeHere.
Here.
Messer.
Here.
Baroni.
Present.
Lindenau.
Present.
Borough Attorney Ronald Dario.
Here.
Borough Administrator Roberta Stern.
Here.
Borough Clerk Jean Pellegris here.
Okay. Mr. Boniak, our Borough Engineer, would you please come forward and give us your monthly report?
Honorable Mayor and Council, Greg Pliniak, we issued an engineer's report dated the 15th for tonight's meeting. The first item on the list is the Economic Recovery Program, the Spring Valley Pump Station. DEP has approved all the documents. They're prepared to be bid. The only item that needs to be addressed at this point in time would be funding with respect to bonding of the project. And also our office would need to have a proposal approved for construction management services, which would be reviewed by the DEP prior to starting construction with the project. The next item on the list is the Maywood Avenue Streetscape Project. The Transportation Trust Fund shutdown was lifted in October of this year. The streetscape lights and hardscape was installed. At this time, there are a few punch list items that need to be addressed. One is the energizing of the streetscape lighting by PSE&G. Another that was brought to my attention is a small area of lawn space that will have addressed with either pavers or concrete. And then the project would be inspected and the borough would receive the remaining DOT funding that's outstanding for the project. The next item on the list is the Jersey Avenue Parkway project. As I had mentioned in the prior months, that project's completed. The shutdown halted DOT's ability to go out and complete their final inspection. Once the final inspection occurs, we'll close the project out with the governing body municipally, file DOT, close out documents, and the borough would receive the remainder of its grant funding with respect to that project. The next item on the list is the various ADA ramp improvements project. We actually held a meeting with Mr. Dario in our office and the Borough Administrator this past week with the contractor. The remainder of the construction of this project will be occurring early next week, and then we'll begin project closeout with respect to that project. The fifth item on the list is the West Magnolia Avenue County Bridge inspection that occurred by the county. Bergen County had hired an engineer through... the state had hired an engineer through Bergen County to address and inspect the West Magnolia Avenue Bridge and culvert over the westerly brook branch of the Saddle River. The county's and state's engineer determined that the bridge was in priority 1 order. Based upon conversations with that engineer, we've recommended that the borough immediately install 3-pound weight limit signs so that vehicles in excess of that weight not drive over the bridge. In addition, we have recommended that the Borough Fire Department, Public Works, and DPW be informed as it relates to utilizing vehicles to access those residences. We've also contacted and determined that the bridge wouldn't need to be repaired until summer of 2017. And we've also explored the option potentially, which we think could save the borough a substantial amount of money with respect to construction costs, looking at connecting Brook Avenue and constructing a small roadway or driveway to those 2 residences if the governing body chose to move in that direction, and then placing guide rails on both sides of the bridge so that vehicles wouldn't drive over the bridge, thereby not requiring the borough to replace the bridge. But that would need to be considered by the governing body as to which option it would like to proceed with. Another item that isn't on the list, we received last Thursday a letter from DOT. There's a call for 2017 grant projects. I know at prior governing body meetings, there was a discussion of Streetscape Phase 2 potentially for submitting a grant, but we would just like direction from the governing body as to what you'd like to file as it relates to potential DOT grant funding for roadway or streetscape improvements. That concludes my report. I'd be glad to address any questions or comments, though.
Mayor, if I may, on item 1, actually the funding is in place for that. The original bond was placed for over $1 million, and we only used part of that. So our CFO and our bond counsel have been working on some of the details with it, but technically the funding is in place. We don't need to have another bond ordinance for it. So it's just a matter of some of the technicality, how it's going to be done. So I would recommend that our engineer prepare the quotes that we need to approve for both construction management and doing the drawing up all the plans. So that's one thing. Regarding West Magnolia, we've already advised everyone, including our garbage people, about not going over that bridge. We're going to notify the 2 property owners on the other side to perhaps, we're going to have to figure out how they're going to get their garbage over that culvert without our garbage trucks going that way, because unfortunately if and when we open up Brook for that driveway, make that passable, nobody can get in that way. So that's just something we have to do, but I think that in the next few weeks, because since we don't have to do this for one, I think we need to have Greg start working on some plans to give us an idea of which would be more efficient and less costly. But I think that you all have to take a look at it as we did to see if in fact you think it would make any sense to open up Brook Avenue, or whether or not we go for what might be a $500,000 project over that culvert.
Anyone have any questions of the engineer?
Quickly, I don't know if you saw the email from the Diamond people. They may need another week. I don't know if anything.
I did see that. They said because of the weather last week with the substantial rain that they'll be doing it after Thanksgiving. But everything's in order and it'll be completed.
I'm sure they know, but if you could just remind the chiefs to also tell the mutual aid towns.
I'm sorry?
If you could remind the chiefs to also tell the mutual aid towns.
Oh, sure.
Just in case.
Okay.
I'm sure they know. Chief Scott's probably very into that, so he's up on that.
We also, in the meantime, we're going to be putting steel plates down over that culvert. We don't have them yet. We're trying to get them on loan, so we don't have to rent them. But so far, we haven't gotten them. But the sign is up.
Okay. All right, Greg, you would just hang around.
Be glad to.
We'll answer the public speaks in case any of the students have questions.
Sure.
Okay, appreciate it. All right. I'd like to welcome the students, the superintendent, the principal, staff, and parents to our meeting tonight. This is an annual event which I've come to look forward to and also dread. So with that, I'd like to open it up to anyone's questions. Who would like to be first? All right. Whoever has a question, can come up to the mic up here. State
Not much good on the line, man. Just a little bit.
Hello, my name is Dylan Keegan,
Can you
and
speak up?
hello, my name is Dylan Keegan.
Sit down and do it.
This is how we throw you off your game. What's your name again, Dylan? Good.
My name is Dylan Keegan, and my question is sort of simple. Janelle's Bakery has been closed for a while. Is there a plan for the town to attract new business in that area? If not, is the town going to consider a plan? Why or why not?
I'm going to throw this over to our planning board liaison. Mr. DeHare.
We've been working with the property owner on that piece of property. We realize it's sitting there empty, and it's not something that we as a town want to have a piece of property empty, especially in such a great little street as West Pleasant. So we are working with the property owner on developing it in some way, shape, or form. I couldn't tell you anything more than that now because we are working with them, but there is plans to do something with that piece of property.
Okay.
So it won't be left that way, hopefully, for much longer. That's a great question.
Thank you, Dylan. Thank you, Mr. DeHare. Who's next?
Hi, my name is Roxy Woolley, and I was just wondering, do we have any more upcoming community service events, such as prior we just had the leaf raking event for seniors? Do we have any more upcoming events that the students could participate in?
I think the next one that's coming up, well, I don't know if that's community service, but the next one we've been talking about is the renumbering the streets, right, Mr. Messer?
I think that's a fundraiser for the
Okay.
in particular, but I will say this, at the most recent Recreation Advisory Board meeting, a couple of ideas were thrown around that we would try to see if perhaps a recreation department could be sort of a hub for community service for different organizations in town and different, for like schools and things like that, in lieu of whatever that was, the week where they had the students come in and shadow all of the different members of the borough. That's an idea that's been thrown around, and we'll see if that comes to fruition.
Well, let me ask you, Roxy, do you have any ideas? Because there's nothing stopping you from coming up with something. Do you have any ideas that you don't?
Nothing in particular. Maybe when the snow comes, we could do snow shoveling, but I wouldn't know how to arrange that.
Well, you have any ideas?
That's a great idea.
That is a great
It's
idea.
tremendous help to the elderly and those who are somewhat handicapped, so it's a great offer. I appreciate that, just like you did with the leaves. So I'm sure Mr. Jordan will help us organize that, but that's a great offer. We appreciate that. I'm sure all the townspeople do.
The leaves have been great, and what we decided a while ago is to try to avoid the snow shoveling just from the liability perspective of, like Roxy was saying, she would know how to organize that, and I wouldn't know how to deal with the amount of sewage and things of that nature, but we'll see what we can do.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Roxy. Who's next?
Hi, my name is Megan Taylor, and as you know, a pavilion was recently built at the park, and are you planning on adding anything else, such as tennis courts?
There was a plan to do tennis courts. We actually got a grant for that, but we converted it because there wasn't going to be enough room with the we would have to tear down a lot of the basketball courts, make a couple of them half court. It wouldn't have been functional. So what we did was we converted our grant that we got for the tennis courts to actually get that pavilion. So the grant that we got for the tennis courts paid for that pavilion.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Meglio,
Hi.
what do you got?
Hello. So most of you know my name. I'm Vincent Maglero, and I live on Maywood Avenue personally, and I notice people go like 50, 60 miles an hour. Pretty sure it cuts between like two major like roads, Route 17 and Route 4. What can the town do to stop speeding in that area?
Well, we do enforcement, but we have our chief enforcer here. Chief Pegg, would you like to handle that one?
Absolutely. Enforcement's done all around town. Unfortunately, it's not only your street, you're on main thoroughfare, but it's almost every street, including dead-end streets in the borough of Maywood. Officers are assigned to go out and do radar details. Quite honestly, a lot of times, people we find speeding are people from town, Maywood people. So it's something maybe you can bring back to your parents, to calm down on the streets, do the speed limit, read the signs. And if you see them speeding, if you're in a car and you see them speeding, give them a nudge and tell them what the speed limit is to slow down.
Thank you, Chief.
All right, thank you.
Good.
Yeah, thank you.
Tell your dad not to lay off the gas.
Hello, I am Victoria Perez, and I was wondering, how are you planning to prevent or stop any hate crimes such as the one seen in New York?
Prevent or stop? That's a tough one, because I don't see... I think part of what prevents hate crime is we have a community here. We don't have that. I haven't seen it. We don't have that kind of vitriol in our town where people are driven to do hate crimes. We're all neighbors, we're all friends, teachers, students, parents, coaches. Pretty much, if you see somebody, you might not know their name, but you know their face. You've seen them around. So, knock wood, thank God that hasn't reached our town, and I'm hoping that that never does. If the day comes where it comes from outside, we'll deal with it. Several years back, I believe about 6, there was a swastika spray painted on the temple when the temple was here. And we fought that, I guess, with information and community. I was there with former Mayor Padovano and a bunch of other people, and we actually repainted the area where the swastika was and made it better than before. So I guess you fight it with community, you fight it with neighbor, hand-in-hand love, knowledge, however you want to put it. And let's hope that never comes this way. That's a great question, though.
Thank you.
Thank you, Victoria.
Hi, I'm Natalie Valdez. I was wondering about the Maywood pool. Personally, my parents have a vacation house in Pennsylvania, and I know to enter the Maywood pool you have to pay like a fee of $175. And in the community over there, they take the funds for the pool out of the property taxes rather than having you pay to register.
Okay, so they charge everybody extra already? Is that what you're saying? And so there's a surcharge added to your tax bill in Pennsylvania?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'll hand that to Roberta, but the administrator. But our pool, as you can tell, we're not a town that has a lot of industry, a lot of commercial. It's mostly taxpayers that fund that pool and keep it going. So it would be the taxpayer that pays for it then at that point, rather than the person who's going to the pool. Our pool fees are very reasonable compared to pools around town, to neighboring towns that have pools. I think
the pool is self-supporting. So there's no misunderstanding. Your tax dollars do not support our pool.
She understands. She's talking about
I understand.
Pennsylvania.
No, I understand that. I'm just saying to clarify it. So,
okay.
Because that's come up when other people think that we should do things because their tax dollars do things at the pool, and the fact is they don't. And we are self-supporting, and we've made a lot of improvements at the pool. The locker rooms have been falling apart, and this mayor and council spent the money to improve them. I don't know if you've ever seen them, but they're really, really nice inside. So I don't know what else other than that, is there any particular question about the pool or the fees?
I think unless I misunderstood your question, you are asking rather than to pay a fee
Right.
For the pool, you're asking for that money to be taken out of the, like, basically a surcharge on your taxes already, so everybody's basically a member of the pool because you're paying a little extra in your tax dollars. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I guess.
Were you saying something different?
No, it's
I'm
just,
sorry.
yeah, that's,
Well,
yeah.
you have to think of it from this point of view. It has to get paid in some way, right?
Yeah.
If it doesn't come out of the membership fees that we charge people, then it has to come out of the community money. So something has to fund the pool to pay employees and to, plus the fact if you opened it up to the whole town, then the pool wouldn't be big enough or we wouldn't have nearly enough employees to be able to support it, and it probably wouldn't be safe with that many people there.
Okay, well, thank you.
Okay. Who's next?
I'm Lokesh Buddha, and I'm from...
I'm sorry, one more time, can you say?
I'm Lokesh Buddha.
Okay, thank you.
I am new to this town. I only been here for a few months, and since I joined the school, I usually go on my bike, which is kind of hard because the sidewalks are not that big enough for pedestrians and bikes. So, are there any plans to build new bike lanes through the town, or?
We do have, we did a Complete the Streets program probably 7 years ago. There was bike lanes in that program. Problem is, like you said, the streets are so narrow that if you're parking on the streets, if you have cars parked on either side, you would have to go around cars, or to create bike lanes, you would have to move the cars a little bit more into the street, and there's not enough room to get another car through, definitely not two cars. Where they have those bike lanes are usually towns with wider roads. This isn't a town that can support that. Well, it would be great, it's just not a town that can support that. Thankfully, we have South Park pretty close, and those bike trails go far. Have you been to the park?
Not really. No.
Okay, well, listen, ask around, ask your parents if you can go over there. They have bike trails that go over Bern County, and they're safe and they're nice. Councilman Linden and myself do that sometimes.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Lokesh. Thank you very much, and welcome to the town. Anyone else? Mr. Vice President.
My family and I, we live on Palmer Avenue, and we have two telephone poles that are nearly half broken and being held together with a piece of rope. The damage occurred in Hurricane Irene in 2011. It's been a hazard for years, and I'm wondering if the town is planning on fixing or ever replacing the poles. It is by Councilman your old house when you were our neighbor. So I'm wondering if there's any plans to fixing or replacing the poles.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, we did some work on your house. I was there when the tree crashed into your house. It was pretty scary. Those poles are PSE&G poles. PSE&G is who works on those poles, and I'm sure they're the ones that put the rope around it, and I guess they're at some point one day going to get to fixing that or replacing it.
Mayor, we would be glad to contact PSE&G to make sure that they move forward with that quickly, that it shouldn't be there that long.
You know, Mr. Haley, when you step up, would you please off the mic give the engineer your address?
665.
Off the mic. Thank you, Mr. Haley.
665 Palmer Avenue.
Hi, my name is Cesar Perez. My question is, I know our town has a surplus. Would you say the surplus will continue to grow? If so, how do you make that happen? Or if you think it will shrink, what would be the cause for any decrease in surplus?
Surplus generally grows. We've seen that happen since we've been here on our end. And part of doing that is by smart budgeting. We've been lucky enough to listen to our CFO, listen to his advice. We have some very good ideas up on this dais here, and since we've been here, we've grown it to historic proportions, basically relative to what Maywood's at. I think last year was the highest we've had ever at $2.4 million. So we work on that budget, on that surplus. John, I see you look itching like you had a question.
I do, but I...
When you said surplus, I saw you twitch over there. Okay.
All right, thank you.
What's the other part of the question? See, the last part, I'm sorry.
All right, so what would be the cause of the shrink of the surplus?
Well, let's not, if we ever have to use that surplus for anything other than what we normally do, it would be an emergency situation. So let's hope that does not happen. Major snowstorms, anything that's outside of an emergency appropriation, anything that's outside of the normal budget, let's hope that does not happen.
All right.
Thank you, Susan.
Hi, my name is Ashley Rickstein. My question is there any way that the town is going to let citizens get a permit for overnight parking if their driveways aren't big enough?
We don't have any plans to do that.
Okay.
That's usually a question we always get. Every year there's a question, and not just from the students. We get questions from people that they get into situations where they're a two-car family, they have a two-car driveway or garage, and then the child comes of age to get their own car, and now where are you going to go? That happens. But our police department, our fire department, they feel it's best for us, this community, not to have on-street parking. And most of the towns north of Route 4 do not have on-street parking either. And that's just, it's one of the characteristics of our town. One of the things that does happen though in towns that do allow on-street parking, overnight parking, is you get in situations where people start to have illegal apartments in their basements. I'm not saying that anyone here would do that, but it does happen, and that's one of the things that prevents that, by not having the on-street parking.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Ashley. So, Joe, what's up? What question do you have for us?
Hi, I'm here, and my question is, how is the tax money that my parents pay distributed?
How is the tax money that the parents pay distributed? Okay. It goes into one big pool, everybody's tax money is collected, and from that number, from that dollar figure, we figure out what our budget's going to be, and then it gets distributed. Sort of like when your parents get their paychecks. That goes into the bank, and they pay their bills from that. They know what they have a monthly budget, weekly budget. They know what they need to spend. They don't spend beyond that. And so I can't tell you exactly where your $8,000 or whatever the number is, the average is about $8,200, whatever that number is. I can't tell you exactly what your municipal portion goes to, but it goes into a pool. And then also you have your parents pay county tax, they pay school tax. So we just handle right here, we just handle the municipal portion. Mr. Jordan could probably tell you a little better where the school tax goes, school tax money.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Joe.
3 more questions?
3 more questions. Do you have a question, Mr. Jordan, about school tax?
Good evening. My name's Jordan Garrick, and I play... Sorry. My name's Jordan Garrick, and I play soccer at Memorial Park. And I noticed specifically this season, the fields, specifically by the goals, have been very muddy or very dirty without any grass. So I was wondering, because the soccer season is over, if there was anything to do to prevent this situation from happening for next soccer season.
Mr. Messa.
Well, I actually would defer this one to Mr. Lindenau, but I will try to answer the question nonetheless. 2 things. Lots of usage and very little rain over the last couple of months results in very little grass and a lot of mud. The only thing that really can be done is a program that I believe the DPW has, where we try to reseed parts of the field during the better weather. Unfortunately, soccer season just ended on Sunday. It was pretty cold out. It's going to get colder. You really can't see the field in the middle of winter. So unfortunately, we're going to have to wait until the spring.
In the spring, they'll do their best to get the grass growing. It's a reoccurring problem. That's why they alternate. The soccer fields run this way one year, and they run this way the other year. and they change that each year to avoid getting that same spot every time in front of the goals, because every year
It happens.
it happens. So we do reseed and try and keep up with it the best we can, but when it gets a ton of use and there is a lack of rain, there's nothing we can do.
Thank you.
Okay?
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Emma McDermott. I live just off the eastern end of Parkway, and whenever I try to walk downtown and cross the street, I find it's almost impossible to cross the avenue. So I was wondering if there's any chances of a crosswalk being established there.
Snagler.
Sure.
When?
Sure.
It's great that you answered that.
We would have to discuss that with the county engineer, because Maywood Avenue is a county roadway. Although we did, I would say approximately 2 to 3 years ago, there was a ADA ramp program that was implemented along Maywood Avenue, and the locations that the crosswalks are situated and the ramps are situated are based on technical standards such as sight distance, to make sure that when you do cross the roadway in that area, there may be a bump in the roadway at that location, that you're not in danger in crossing that. So strategically they're placed. We could take a second look at it, but I'm pretty sure when we initially looked at it with the county engineer, Parkway wasn't in a location that provided the adequate sight distance that you could cross, and your safety being ensured.
There's one down by Fairmount.
Correct.
And
correct.
what's the nearest one from Parkway would be, is it just...
It might be Park.
Just one?
Yeah, it might be, there's one.
There's one on Park,
Okay, on Park.
So I guess until that things change, you're probably going to have to go to either side.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Ali Calabro. I live on the corner of Palmer and Parkway, and right by my driveway, which is on Parkway, there's 3 or 4 drains, and almost every time it rains, the drains get clogged, and my parents and the neighbors have to run outside and clean them, or else the whole street from Parkway to Edel will flood. Is there anything we could do about that?
What we do is we have a maintenance program where we go and clean those out whenever they get filled. What happens is, a lot of times they fill up with leaves. The weather gets bad, or before people start cleaning them, if we have a rainstorm, it sweeps them right into there, and it gets clogged. So the best thing that can be done to help prevent that, one of the things is just get the leaves up as soon as possible and don't get into the street, which is one of the reasons why we bag them now at this point, because if they were in the streets, it would be 10 times worse. But if that does happen, you should definitely have your dad call Borough Hall, and we'll try and get the DPW over there if it happens, if you see that it's filling up. Okay?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, one more?
Yeah.
Didn't you go before?
Yeah. I'm speaking on behalf of a friend. I live on West Magnolia, and because of a traffic light on Central, there are always cars speeding down my street trying to beat the light. Is there any way to increase the surveillance near that area?
Chief Pegg.
The portable radar sign out there, numerous times, officers have been out there. And it's a story, when you're out there with the police car, they see it and nobody speeds. We put the radar thing out there, sometimes people want to see what numbers they can come up with. So, again, it's a hard thing, because again, I live on the block too, so I know what goes on there. And again, talking with the engineer, the possibility of putting a stop sign in it because of the frequent traffic and the speeding surveys that we do. And it should continue doing traffic enforcement there. We do write tickets. Once again, a lot of times people may have cut through, people work so far cutting through. The only option would be, which we discussed with the borough engineer, is limiting the time that people can make a turn onto the street, or doing something with limiting through traffic certain hours. And you know that, it's a rush hour. It's in the morning and it's at nighttime, to try and cut people from coming through there. I think the borough clerk even knows what it's like being down here at the block. So.
Thank you, Chief. We have, let's do one more, because I saw Mr. Kearns. Is that who, or was it Ryan? Who got it? Ryan.
My name is Ryan, and especially in the summer when it's hot, I like to go to the park a lot, and I notice that sometimes the water fountains are down, and if they're not working, they're usually warm, so I was wondering if we could get a couple vending machines up there with cold drinks and snacks.
Worst idea, but what we are planning on doing at this point is redoing the concession stand. So let's start with that. Let's see where that gets us. We're going to redo the whole thing on the inside, gut it, redo it. If you notice, if you've been up there, you notice it's pretty much gutted right now. So it's still working, but everything that was in there, all the lockers, all the equipment's all out. And once the season is over now, it's going to start getting redone. So let's see where we go with that. Maybe there's some stuff in there that you'll like, and maybe the hours will be a little different.
Okay.
Open maybe a little bit longer. Maybe the borough will take more of a hand in running it, so we can keep it open a little longer, like we do with the pool.
Thank you.
You got it. All right.
Just like to thank the governing body, mayor and council, as well as Ms. Stern, and of course our friend Ms. Pellegro, who always helps us out by coordinating this. But I'd be remiss if I didn't say the guy that gets this show on the road and is one of the better social studies teachers I think these kids will have. Mr. John Bonelli takes this very seriously, and he's a very great social studies teacher. And this is, government in action. And if you have the chance to actually attend one of his social studies classes, it's not a textbook class. It's civics in action, and so this is just very appropriate, and I just wanted to publicly thank John because he really does get these kids ready for this. So thank you.
Well done, Mr. Bonelli, and well done by you guys. Great questions. I appreciate you guys coming. Thank you so much. I took a picture of everyone because we never have this many people in the audience. So this is great. This is great. Packed house. Thank you again.
Thank you.
Based on what Roberta said, we're ready whenever the weather breaks. The drawings are done. I just have to get a proposal approved by the governing body, forward it to the state, and I can get it. Pre-research meeting. We did a pre-research meeting. Now I basically it's going to happen in March or April next year. No, I send them a notice, and we can do something also eliminate that.
Good night, guys.
Next thing is do they do it now with this culvert report that I got. I don't know how, because I got to find money for that now. How big is this bridge? Small, but the problem is it's just two pipes. You now have to design it to current standards with head walls. It becomes a big rigor.
What's your address?
You know where the town actually has right of way. So I could come in the backside, not replace the bridge, and build maybe a 300-foot road with the fence at the front of their house.
Well, we'll take a look at it and see what's going on. Okay, so nobody's using the garbage pail is what you're saying, or it never gets emptied?
This property values, because I'm now coming through a commercial industrial area to get to my house, and I'm being at a dead end.
We'll take a look. Thank
So
you.
I leave that to the government. That's more, technically, we can design it, and it'll be cheaper than replacing the garage.
All right, guys. Thanks again. At this point, I'd like to open the meeting to the public. Is there anyone from the public wishing to be heard? Mr. Brown. Here you go.
The kids, right? Not one of the kids ripped it like that. Learn how to use it properly. You come every meeting.
You know how much those mics are?
About $100, 150. John Brown, 41 Stelling Avenue. What did I do wrong? This won't be as interesting as the kids' question. We got about a dozen tax appeals. And just a generic question. It looks like, I just tried to add them up, maybe $8 million in ratables that's disappearing. Pretty substantial number. Question I have, knowing that the market for real estate has been increasing over the past few years, and again, looking at the $8 million that we've lost in the current year, question is that based upon the receipts, or is there some other trend going on?
The rise in the market?
I'm sorry, in the market, yeah. Because, as far as I know, I thought all real estate was increasing, particularly in the past 2 or 3 years. That's what I've been reading. So I guess the question is something else going on, or is it based upon receipts for those businesses, or... And they're all businesses, by the way, from the appearance of this.
One of them...
I realize the county does the...
Yeah, there's one specifically I know was being mischarged, but...
Okay.
Yeah, Brian Iron, I'm the tax bill attorney.
Okay.
There are certain properties in town with commercial properties. Those settlements were done for a variety of reasons. There are certain ways of looking at the evaluations, either by income evaluation, and what the incomes are. And certain ones, including some of the big ones, Sears being one of them, Maywood Joint Ventures being another, the incomes just aren't there.
Okay,
Sears income, for a great example, they've had the same lease now for, I think it's 50 years.
I think public service was another one. Is that because they changed the usage of that property?
And what the property is and the income that we see from that property.
So, but the rest of them, you think it's basically...
It's mostly income valuation.
John,
it just flew in the face of what real estate values do.
It's closed to the public, we're going to go into closed session to discuss those very same appeals. We have Irons here is going to talk to us about that, and it's going to be in closed session, obviously.
But these are based upon the county's recommendations, or?
The assessor.
The assessor and appraiser. It's not done through the county. We have a local assessor.
Local. Okay, so you don't have to approve.
No, we don't.
Yeah. Okay.
It's council approval.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, John.
Sorry it wasn't as interesting as the kids.
Anyone else from the public who should be heard? Seeing no one, close the meeting to the public. And at this point, I'd like a motion to go out of the regular order of business.
So moved.
We're going to go into closed session. Is there, for the purpose of...
Litigation?
Yes.
We're going to do probably 2 closed sessions tonight, right? Because we'll do litigation and some personnel and some contract negotiations.
Well, you're going to do it separately, right?
Yeah. So I would imagine, right, we're just going to do the litigation now, then we're going to come back to open.
Yes.
We'll finish the agenda, then we'll go back to close. It's going to be, unfortunately, I think it's going to be a lengthy second closed session.
The assessor and the appraiser?
The appraiser, I was waiting for him. I sent a messages today and George could not make it. George had a family issue. He could not make it tonight. But he did give me his recommendations and told me what he would like to explain.
So we are waiting for...
The appraiser, I haven't been able to get in touch with him, so I doubt he's coming.
Unless start with the chief.
And that's where we'll go.
Okay.
The chief.
So is there a motion that...
Is there a motion going to close for the purpose of personnel?
No, this is... all right, personnel, we're going to start with the chief.
Yes.
Yes, motion to close.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Steve is up by the Mayor and Council Borough Maywood pursuant to the provisions of the Open Public Meeting Act. The Mayor and Council meeting closed session discuss the following subject matters: personnel and tax appeal litigation. Be further resolved as precisely determined this time the discussion conducted in said closed session can be disclosed to the public upon taking final action on how provided disclosure not violate the attorney-client privilege or constitute undue invasion of privacy. Be it resolved, Mayor, Council of the Borough of Maywood will return to open session after this meeting.
If you'd like to, sir.
Motion to go back to the regular order of business.
Motion.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, we have, public hearing on pending ordinances. Ordinance 2216, bond ordinance to authorize the making of various public improvements and the acquisition of new additional or replacement equipment and machinery in by and for the Borough of Maywood in the County of Bergen, State of New Jersey, to appropriate the sum of $570,000 to pay the costs thereof, to make a down payment to authorize the issuance of bonds to finance such appropriation, and to provide for the issuance of bond anticipation notes in anticipation of the issuance of such bonds. All right, at this time, I'll open the meeting to the public for any comments or questions regarding ordinance number 2216. Seeing no one from the public, close to the public. Is there a motion for the adoption?
Motion to adopt.
Is there a second?
Second.
Roll call. Padavano?
Yes.
Trevino? Yes. DeHere?
Yes.
Messer?
Yes.
Maroney?
Yes.
Lindenau?
Yes.
Be it resolved by the Mayor and Council of the Borough of Maywood that ordinance 2216 be passed upon second and final reading. The Borough Clerk is hereby authorized and directed to advertise the same according to law in the 20-day period of limitation within which a suit action proceeding questioning the validity of such ordinance can be commenced as provided in the local bond law, has begun to run from the date of first publication of this statement. A copy of this ordinance has been posted on the bulletin board upon which public notices are customarily posted in the Borough Hall of the Borough, and a copy is available up to and including the time of such meeting to the members of the general public of the Borough. We shall request such copies at the office of the Borough Clerk in said Borough of Maywood, New Jersey. Okay, approval of minutes. Is there a motion for the approval of the October 25th, 2016 council meeting minutes and closed session minutes?
Move to approve.
Second. Roll call. Padavano?
Yes.
Trevino? Yes. DeHere?
Yes.
Messer?
Yes.
Maroney?
Abstain, I was not here.
And Lindenau.
Yes.
Okay, presentation of bills and claims and requests for public comment. The clerk has presented the bill resolution. Is there anyone from the public wishing to be heard with regard to the bills? Seeing no one, is there a motion for the approval?
Motion approved.
Second?
Second.
Roll call. Padavano?
Yes.
Trevino?
Yes.
DeHere?
Yes.
Messer?
Yes.
Maroney?
Yes.
Lindenau.
Yes.
Correspondence and report of the Borough Clerk. I actually just received from the county this evening final tallies with the provisionals and with the vote by mail ballots.
Did I slow down?
Yeah, and yes, congratulations. First
Sorry,
of all,
Mike.
to Mike and Mike Trevino and Tom Lindenau. And just to let you know, we had a percentage of 73.86% of our voters out to vote.
Wow.
Including all the mail-ins and the provisionals.
That's
So
outstanding.
that is,
What's the county at?
since I'm here, I don't have that. I
Okay,
just
okay.
got the Maywood. But with that being said, since I'm here, I don't ever remember it being that high, but I don't know.
Wow.
It's usually in the 60s, so that was really quite amazing. And I wish everyone a happy Thanksgiving and enjoy your time with your families.
Did you hear what Mrs. Padavano just said?
No.
You said for the time on here, she said, and that's forever. You hear on the recording.
Sometimes it feels like that.
Thank you, Gene. Report of the Borough Administrator.
Mayor, most of my report is in closed session,
Okay.
but just a couple of things. A reminder that Friday is our annual tree lighting ceremony, for those of you who haven't heard about it. So very excited about that. It should be another nice night, and I understand the weather shouldn't be quite as windy, and it hopefully will be 50 degrees and not 32 degrees. So we're prepared for hopefully 300 to 400 people. and I hope that's what we do. A couple of other things. For the record, the Borough Hall will be closed Christmas Eve and New Year's Eve, as it was last year, because the staff on our administrative floor has taken that, day in lieu of the floating holiday. So we'll publicize that so people know. Also tomorrow, I'm hoping to close the Borough Hall around 2 o'clock so that our people can get out a little bit early to prepare for Thanksgiving. I don't see any issue. And last but not least, we do have a meeting on the 27th, which is between Christmas and New Year's, and I thought maybe we should mention it to see if anybody's plans, if we're even going to have a quorum that week. It kind of worked out unusual. We usually don't have a meeting after Christmas. It's usually the Tuesday before Christmas. So I think we need to give that some thought. We could decide at the first meeting in December, but just something to think about. As I said, between Christmas
Does anybody have any plans at this point that we'll take them out of the borough on the 27th? Magellan?
I expect to be.
All right. Anyone else?
I'll be here.
Okay. Well, that's it. As I said, everything else is in closed session, Mayor.
Thank you, Roberta. For the Borough Attorney?
Mr. Mayor, I'm going to get my report in closed session as well.
Thank you, sir. Committee reports. Councilwoman Padavano.
I have nothing to report. I did want to say congratulations to Mike and Tom in their big win, and happy Thanksgiving to everybody.
Thank you. Councilman Trevino.
Thank you, Mayor. No report, and just wanted to thank the voters of Maywood for electing me for another 3 years. I promise to keep moving forward with all of the work we've started already, and happy Thanksgiving to everybody.
Thank you, Mr. Trevino. Councilman Dare.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. A couple of short things from the building department, in the combination of the building department and the zoning department, from October 25th through yesterday, November 21st, a total of $13,346 was collected in permit fees. On October 26th, I attended the Teterboro Airport noise abatement meeting, and the program that they had in place, that quiet visual program of coming down Route 17, has been it's stopped. It's over. It was 10 years in the making, and it didn't work. So that whole program of rerouting planes is gone. So they have to go back to the starting gate and start all over again now. So there was a great deal of discussion after that as to why it failed, I guess is the term they used. And there was a nice turnout from just people concerned, and a big topic came up regarding the increase in helicopter noise in addition to the flight patterns. And I want to thank the people of Maywood. Maywood has the highest percentage of call-ins concerning the noise. So I'm glad that the people do that. They need to continue to do that, to let them know they seem very interested in getting the information. It's a complaint on our part, but it's really not a complaint. It's helpful information to them. So people in Maywood need to continue to call in and let them know things are not the way they need to be. And other than that, I'd like to also say Thanksgiving and to have a belated thank you to our veterans. We were not here. We didn't have a meeting before Veterans Day. So I just wanted to reach out to them as well. Thank you for all they do. If it wasn't for them, we wouldn't be sitting here this evening. So thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Councilman Nassar.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Really briefly, congrats Mike and Tom. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. And there's a box downstairs for unwrapped toys. Stuff it.
Thank you, Mr. Nassar. Councilman Maroney.
Mr. Mayor, nothing of the policy nature. I want to just congratulate Tom and Mike for a great job. Congratulations. Are we going to be switching the seats somewhere though? Because I like Tom. Do you want to sit next?
I think, well, everything's going to pretty much stay the same. Maybe I'll switch with Gene. Rotate a little bit. Thank you, Mr. Mahoney. Council President Linda.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd also like to thank the voters of Maywood for trusting me for the next 3 years. Going to continue to put Maywood first, as we all do up here, and work hard for the town. Just very briefly, the DPW is out
with the street sweeper. Some of you may have heard them early in the morning. Purpose of that is, I know they've gotten some calls and some complaints about it, but the purpose of that is that once the day starts, people park their cars on the streets and then they can't clear the streets properly, and storm drains get full, and the reason they're doing it in the early morning is so that they can get the streets clear and keep the storm drains clear so that there is no flooding. Other than that, things seem to be going very well down there right now. I want to wish everybody happy Thanksgiving, and that's it.
Thank you, Mr. Lynn. I want to congratulate you and Mr. Gavino for a great campaign that you ran, and for your victories. And I'm very glad you're staying on board. We have a lot of things going forward that we need your expertise on, both of you. And it's a pleasure to serve with you. And I meant what I said. No two council persons deserve, that I know, that deserve getting reelected more than the two of you. And obviously, I'll be saying the same thing next year, so just congratulations, guys. It's a pleasure working with you, and I look forward to working with you in the new year. I hope there'll be some more people in the audience, so reading this is going to seem a little awkward to our attorney here. But
Please, make it poetic.
We do have the YouTube video that people do watch, and this is in honor of our former mayor, Greg Padovano, who was a big Abraham Lincoln fan. This is an address given by a proclamation for Thanksgiving given by President Abraham Lincoln on October 3rd, 1863, and I looked at it and I thought it was a little poignant for what's going on these days. The year that is drawing towards its close has been filled with blessings of fruitful fields and healthful skies. To these bounties, which are so constantly enjoyed that we are prone to forget the source from which they come, others have been added, which are of so extraordinary of nature that they cannot fail to penetrate and soften even the heart which is habitually insensible to the ever-watchful providence of Almighty God. In the midst of a civil war of unequaled magnitude and severity, which has sometimes seemed to foreign states to invite and to provoke their aggression, peace has been preserved with all nations, order has been maintained, the laws have been respected and obeyed, and harmony has prevailed everywhere except in the theater of military conflict, while that theater has been greatly contracted by the advancing armies and navies of the Union. Needful diversions of wealth and of strength from the fields of peaceful industry to the national defense have not arrested the plow, the shuttle, or the ship. The axe has enlarged the borders of our settlements and the mines, as well of iron and coal as of the precious metals, have yielded even more abundantly than heretofore. Population has steadily increased, notwithstanding the waste that has been made in the camp, the siege and the battlefield, and the country, rejoicing in the consciousness of augmented strength and vigor, is permitted to expect continuance of years with large increase of freedom. No human counsel hath devised, nor hath any mortal hand worked out these great things. These are the gracious gifts of the Most High God, who, while dealing with us in anger for our sins, hath nevertheless remembered mercy. It has seemed to me fit and proper that they should be solemnly, reverently, and gratefully acknowledged as with one heart and one voice by the whole American people. I do, therefore, invite my fellow citizens in every part of the United States, and also those who are at sea and those who are sojourning in foreign lands, to set apart and observe the last Thursday of November next as a day of thanksgiving and praise to our beneficent Father who dwelleth in the heavens. And I recommend to them that while offering up the ascriptions justly due to him for such singular deliverances and blessings, they do also, with humble penitence, for our national perseverance and disobedience. It's perverseness and disobedience. Commend to his tender care all those who have become widows, orphans, mourners, or sufferers in the lamentable civil strife in which we are unavoidably engaged, and fervently implore the interposition of the Almighty hand to heal the wounds of the nation and to restore it as soon as may be consistent with the divine purpose to the full enjoyment of peace, harmony, tranquility, and union, by President Abraham Lincoln, October 3rd, 1863. So while today we are not in the midst of a civil war, if you watch TV, you can see we are not at peace with each other either. It is my great hope that we put aside all of our political differences and give thanks, not only on Thursday, but every day after that. Thanks for all the blessings that have been bestowed upon us in this great country that we live in. And may God continue to watch over our families, our borough, and our nation. And I wish everybody in the borough and up here and out there a happy Thanksgiving. There. Okay. All right, appointments. John Montney and Joseph Buda as members of the Maywood Fire Police effective November 22nd, 2016. Is there a motion for the appointments?
Motion to accept.
Is there a second?
Second.
Roll call.
Cardano?
Yes.
Trevino?
Yes.
DeHier?
Yes.
Messer?
Yes.
Maroni?
Yes.
Lindenau?
Yes.
Also approve the following for the Maywood Fire Department. Request to attend the Wallington Holiday Parade Saturday, November 26, 2016, with the Chief's vehicle, Truck 17, Rescue 23, and the Aaron's Fox. Number 2, from the Maywood Senior Citizens Club of Maywood, permission to park their personal cars approximately 18 in the swim pool parking lot for the period of November 30th, 2016 through December 3rd, 2016. Number 3, removal of Vincent Downey and Michael O'Keefe from the Maywood Fire Department, Protection Hook and Ladder Company Number 1. Number 4, removal of Robert Cadera as a probationary member of the Maywood Fire Department, Protection Hook and Ladder Company Number 1.
Mayor?
Yes.
If I just might, maybe with number 2, maybe we should at least let them know, because I know we'll approve it, that the senior citizens should not park in the numbered spots, because we have started renting them. So
Okay.
just to advise them.
Put that in the letter.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just to be clear.
That's a good idea. Okay. With that amendment, is there a motion for the approval?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Roll call.
Cardano?
Yes.
Trevino?
Yes.
DeHier?
Yes.
Messer?
Yes.
Maroni?
Yes.
Lindenau?
Yes.
Good? Yeah. Okay. Resolutions by title.
Resolution number 15316, resolution authorizing change order number 1 for Maywood Avenue Streetscape Project DOT funding. Resolution 15416, resolution of the Borough Council of the Borough of Maywood in the County of Bergen, New Jersey, combinating to comply with the provisions of the Internal Revenue Code of 1986 as amended, applicable to the exclusions from gross income for federal income tax purposes of interest on obligations issued by the Borough of Maywood, authorizing the mayor, borough clerk, CFO, and other borough officials to take such action as they may deem necessary or advisable to effect such compliance, and designating a $3,261,395 bond anticipation note dated November 10, 2016, and payable November 10, 2017, as a qualified tax-exempt obligation pursuant to Section 265B3 of the Internal Revenue Code of 1986, as amended. Resolution 15516, Municipal Alliance Grant Acceptance. Resolution 15616, Transfer of Funds Number 1. Resolution 15716 has been pulled. Resolution 15816, resolution approving settlement of tax appeal for kin property, Block 124, Lot 30, in the Borough of Maywood, Bergen County, New Jersey. Resolution 15916, resolution approving settlement of tax appeal for Maywood Tennis Realty, LLC, Block 86, Lot 15, in the Borough of Maywood, Bergen County, New Jersey. Resolution 16016 has been pulled. Resolution 16116, resolution approving settlement of tax appeal for Maywood Furniture Company, Block 124, Lot 17, in the Borough of Maywood, Bergen County, New Jersey. Resolution 16216, resolution approving settlement of a tax appeal for SWS Realty Associates, Block 124, Lot 4, in the Borough of Maywood, Bergen County, New Jersey. Resolution 16316, resolution approving settlement of a tax appeal for Maywood Sherwood Village, LLC, Block 79, Lot 2, in the Borough of Maywood, Bergen County, New Jersey. Resolution 16416, resolution approving settlement of tax appeal for Jacqueline Incorporated, Block 2, Lot 6, in the Borough of Maywood, Bergen County, New Jersey. Resolution 16516, resolution approving settlement of tax appeal for PSE&G Block 124, lots 84 through 91 in the Borough of Maywood, Bergen County, New Jersey. Resolution 16616, resolution approving settlement of a tax appeal for Sun Oil Company Block 124, Lot 2 in the Borough of Maywood, Bergen County, New Jersey. Resolution 16716, resolution approving settlement of a tax appeal for Post Investors Block 70, Lot 13 in the Borough of Maywood, Bergen County, New Jersey. Resolution 16816, resolution approving settlement of a tax appeal for 255 West Spring Valley Avenue LLC, Block 1, Lot 2 in the Borough of Maywood, Bergen County, New Jersey.
That was a lot.
Yeah.
Very good. Okay. Is there a motion for the adoption?
Questions, Mayor?
Sure.
No.
Let's just, is there a motion for the adoption?
to adopt.
Second? Second. Discussion?
Yes, if I may, on Resolution 115-316 for the change order for the streetscape, that was the first one. What does that actually entail? What are we actually change order for? What are we doing?
Oh, that was a slight increase, and most of that had to do with the police detail.
The overtime detail.
The overtime detail. The next one, we're going to have a reduction, so it'll even out to like 3, but of the 12, 9 of it had to do with police details. So that's what, it was over and above what had been allowed in the contract.
Thank you. Any other discussion? Any further discussion? Okay, if not, roll call.
Catalano?
Yes.
Rubino?
Yes.
Tahir?
Yes.
Messer? Yes. Maroni?
Yes.
Lindenau?
Yes.
Okay, we have no ordinances to introduce. Under new business, I'd like to discuss what we brought up before, the MYA, doing the street curbs as a fundraiser, the numbers. Mr. Messer, have you been able to get any more information on that? The program, the members of the MYA would like to go around and, as we did with the Boy Scouts several years ago, they paint the numbers in front of the streets. Makes it easy for... Yeah, in front of houses. In the curbs in front of the street. Makes it obviously easier for anyone coming to the house to see the number. Sometimes you can't see the number at night. Sometimes they don't have numbers. I mean, you guys know that from campaigning. A lot of these houses don't have...
numbers for every house.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, as I found out, a lot of our houses just don't have numbers. I mean,
Yeah.
even for simple things like trying to find somebody when they have a complaint, and you try to go out there to help them, and you can't find the
Yeah,
house.
a fire call, it just happens.
Right, and just a good point that was brought to my attention is perhaps that we could assign fire, police, or a couple of them.
Yeah.
Okay. I followed up with the organization. I spoke to the person who's chairing this, and the only involvement that first off, the purpose of the fundraiser is to generate funds so that the Maywood travel baseball teams can go to Cooperstown. This particular age group, which will be turning 12, if not now, next year, they're trying to offset some of their costs to travel to Cooperstown to play in a baseball tournament. It's something that they're trying to do for every age, every 12-year-old group as they move up through the ranks. This is one of the things that they might do every year, every couple of years, depending on the response. The only involvement that the children have is soliciting the donation or whatever it is to do the number. They're not actually going to do it themselves. There's only 1 or 2 people that are going to do it to adults.
Okay.
Okay, Dave
I
Luongo
was
and
wondering...
someone else. Yes, I have that confirmation in writing from him today. And this will take place sometime in the spring of 2017 in terms of the actual spray painting of the numbers. So I did find that information out. So the children will not be...
They'll still need to take safety precautions.
Whatever the case is, but there was I know that there was some concern that maybe the children were going out and doing it, and that's not the case.
Well, I was just wondering how they were raising the money is what I was trying to figure out.
$10 a house, what is it?
I'm not quite sure what the actual dollar amount is.
Boy Scouts did it, but I raised a lot of money. I don't know how much.
Whoever does the spray painting should have glasses on and a steady hand.
Well, the stencils.
Considering that Dave works on people's feet, I would hope that would be the case.
I've seen people screw up stencils. We've seen it in front of the school. It has happened. Did you have a question?
Me?
Yeah, no, I thought you were looking...
No.
Okay.
No questions. Thank you.
Well, that handles the safety part. And again, maybe we should look into having a fire police with them anyway. Can't hurt to have a fire police detail, one person going with them just to make sure on the major roads. that
Beginning
there's
of the
not a problem.
street, the end of the street,
Yeah.
you know.
So, we do need council approval for this, correct? We feel that we need council approval, Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
Okay. Are we comfortable putting on tonight, or do we want to?
Don't you think you should find out a little bit more about how they're raising the money so you have an idea before you approve it?
The kids are going to knock on the doors and they're going to say, give me 10
We're not
bucks or
approving
20 bucks.
we're not approving their
Yeah, we don't have to
fundraising.
get into
No, I'm
specifics.
We're
just-
approving them doing the work. I
I
don't care
know.
how they raise the money, however they raise it, they raise it.
Well, if we're approving it. I don't
Did
know.
we ask the same question of the scouts when they did?
No, I mean, we're not governing how they raise the money.
It's certainly up to you. I'm
You know
just
what,
suggesting that,
Let's put this on to the next meeting. We can put it on for the next meeting for approval. This way we don't have to...
well, they're not doing it till the spring, so.
Until the spring anyway.
Well, no, they're actually going to do the lettering in the spring, but they're going to start soliciting
Yeah.
shortly.
Okay.
Do they have to get a sticker because they're going to be soliciting?
They're exempt. You know what?
I'm just kidding.
All right. Is there any other new business? Is there any old business? How about miscellaneous business? Okay. We do have another closed session, correct?
We do.
For the purpose of?
PBA and DPW negotiations.
You got to close your ears, man.
No, you don't believe we're not doing it here.
Yeah, we're going upstairs.
We're going upstairs, so.
Thank you. Have a good night.
We good?
Yeah, we're good. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Is
Night,
there a motion-
Thanksgiving.
is there a motion going to close?
Motion.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Be resolved by the Mayor and Council of the Borough of Maywood, pursuant to the provisions of the Open Public Meeting Act, the Mayor and Council meet in closed session to discuss the following subject matters, PBA and DPW negotiations. Be further resolved that precisely as determined at the time of discussion conducted in such closed session can be disclosed to the public upon taking upon our action thereon, provided disclosure shall not violate the attorney privilege or constitute undue invasion of privacy. Be it further resolved, the Mayor and Council of the Borough of Maywood do not wish to return to open session at this meeting, but reserve the right to do so.
Thank you. Thanks, Mike.
So, we'll be at the end of
2 hours.
40 minutes.